Hi there, that's right, my name is Nick Dutch, back on the camera yet again. Hi there, how the heck's it going? Now, I saw a video earlier on today that was on a very serious subject, and that of psychic addiction. The YouTube user who made that particular video found it quite laughable that there was such a thing. But humans are addictive creatures. They can get addictions and obsessions with a wide variety of different things. Take Arnold Schwarzenegger, for instance, one of the biggest exercise addicts in the whole wide world. You can get psychologically or physically addicted or emotionally addicted to nearly anything, and any variety of therapy, whether it's buying painkillers or going to see an aromatherapist, all of these things could have a potentially psychologically addictive component. Alright? Now, as someone like myself who actually works in the New Age industries as a professional tarot reader, do I have an opinion on this? Yes, I do. It's a very, very serious problem. And there are some people who do the same sort of thing that I do, and do it in a rather unethical manner. Namely, they recognize when someone is a psychic addict, and they play upon them, which is bad. But even when there's someone like me who tries to talk someone out of a psychic addiction when they call me, I can still come across some problems. Earlier on today, I had a client who came on the phone with me. She told me that she wanted to find out about a potential relationship. There's this person that she's got some love for, and she wanted to see whether I saw that there was some kind of relationship there. Now, I automatically detected there was something strange about her tone of voice. There was a certain level of anxiety there, a certain quantity of fear, and I realized I was dealing with a potentially vulnerable individual. So I had to think carefully about how I was to address the problem. In a few minutes, I talked quite quickly, I managed to convey a message quite quickly that it would be worthwhile trying to take a rational attitude to her connection with this one particular individual. That didn't go down too well with her, because she told me that she'd just had 10 other readings with other people who do tarot, clairvoyance, all the rest of it, and they all said that he's coming back and that they're going to have a relationship together. So could I personally do anything with that one particular client? No, I could not. Alright, some of these people I can't help, because they've got their own obsessions, they've got their own attitudes, and there's nothing I can do. But there are other cases in which I can help, and I do help. A little while ago, there was one client who came on LivePerson with. LivePerson is, of course, one of the sites in which I do my reading work. She asked a question, a very similar question. It was about a relationship, to see whether there will be some kind of connection happening between her and this other individual. I did my normal bits. I did my, the theatrical side of things. I came out with some positive stuff, provided some opportunities for further thought and some different opinions, so that the client could then have a moment of speculation, a moment of thinking about where things could go. So I made sure on that call I didn't actually provide an answer. I provided an opportunity to think, which is essentially what the reading should be about. It should be that little moment in your life when you can have a moment to contemplate all the stuff you're going through. Alright, that's what I think it should be about anyway. But at the end of the call, I noticed there was something about her reaction, in the fact that she thought that what I was saying was a corroboration that this was a wonderful relationship, they were going to get married and have 20-odd kids or something stupid like that. I then said to her, again, still doing the internet chat bit, "Can I say something off the record?" To which she then replied, "Yes." And I said, "Precisely what is it he has both done and said that leads you to feel there's a relationship here?" Then she replied, "Well, he said an awful lot, but he hasn't actually done anything." At that point, I maintained my silence to give her that moment of thought and to think about what she just said. Which is what a good counsellor does once in a while, if of course you know what it means to be a good counsellor, which I do. Then the client replied to my silence, "Do you think it was all in my head all along?" And I just said yes. And at that point, I helped her to get out of a mental trap that she got herself into as a result of the application of my skill. I heard back from the client, I believe it was 9 months later, and she told me that she'd now got a new relationship with someone who was being consistent with her, and everything was working out wonderful. And it was, it sounded genuine. This is someone who was talking to her every single day. They're going out a lot. He's actually demonstrating through action that he wants the relationship to work. And so it's actually a story of success. I do ask myself whether she would actually be in that position of having now a successful relationship if I hadn't done what I'd done during that particular reading call. When I do my tarot readings, it is an entertainment service with some therapeutic benefit. That's the way I market it and all the rest of that. That's what I tell people it is. Occasionally other stuff happens which is weird and wonderful and peculiar and all the rest of that. But this is not a service which should be exploited. There are lots of people in this industry who do seek out or listen out for those who are vulnerable and likely to be the good cash cows. But I don't think it's worthwhile doing that. I do get the occasional customer who calls me after a long line of dealing with other tarot readers and other psychics and other professionals in this field, and say something like, you know, I've had a big issue, I've been calling a lot of clairvoyants. I say something like, well, how many have you spoken to? And sometimes they would even say, well, I must have spent about £1,000 in a whole week. And so I use that call to try and teach this individual about what can be gained, what can't be gained from a reading, and to try and provide some perspective. I don't want someone to be a psychic addict. I act to try and stop them from being a psychic addict. And I've got to use my skill and my understanding of them and any particular psychological states or emotional states that they might be in to help to achieve that. There's nothing wrong with having a bit of fun, you know, calling a psychic. If you got a problem, you just want to try and mull it over in your mind and have someone else there to bounce ideas forwards and backwards. You know, a tarot reading can be a great thing, alright? And using the allegorical ideas which are present in mysticism, which funnily enough are included in every single tarot pack, it can actually be a good creativity stimulating exercise. A great moment of contemplation and a wonderful way of accessing solutions which the inquirer often already knows themselves. But these psychic addicts do exist, just as there's alcoholics in the world, but alcohol is still sold and most people can manage it okay. Just as there are sports addicts, but on the other hand there's lots of people who are members of sports clubs who can manage their exercise routine okay. Fortunately, I've got enough compassion for my clients to try and operate well with them. Sometimes I've got to give them the hard love stuff. Like I had one girl who was very obsessive with me, very obsessive with trying to get readings from me. And in the end, after a while, I thought, I'm not doing her any good because she's not listening to what I'm saying, nor is she incorporating the kind of message I'm trying to give her into her life, so I'm not helping her. So I had to turn around to her on the phone and say, I can't do the thinking for you forever. Then that was more or less the end of the relationship between myself and her as a client. But I had to do that. You know, I've got a lot of moral responsibility for every single person who contacts me, and I've got to make sure I use that properly. Anyway, this has been Nick Dutch, talking about psychic addiction. Good fortune, God and or Goddess, and or none of the above bless. Look after yourself. Bye for now.